We're back with Melanie Franklin, Chief Executive of Maven Training. We're going to speak a little bit now about project management qualifications. Can you tell us what other ones there are apart from Prince 2, which is the well-known one?
Yeah, I think certainly there's several 100,000 people who have the Prince 2 qualification in either foundation or practitioner form now, who are asking exactly that question, what next? What I'm seeing in the qualifications market at the moment is that people do want to extend their CVs. They do want to prove to their employers or potential employers that they are well educated, they understand their particular profession. So what next is very, very relevant question. Some people have answered that question by saying, actually, a program management qualification is important to me. Managing successful programs from the Office of Government Commerce is a very well respected and very straightforward framework for managing multiple interdependent projects. That works for some people who perhaps are going to be asked to juggle more than one ball at a time. For others, though, who are at the point where they understand the framework, the structure of managing a project, but they actually want to spend more time on their skills development. They want more technical knowledge about being a project manager. I think that having looked at the marketplace, one particular interesting area is PMI, Project Management Institute's PMP qualification. Similar to Prince 2 in that the syllabus actually has processes. It has a life cycle for the project, and it also has 9 knowledge areas. Those knowledge areas align very closely to sort of the components or themes within Prince 2. We're talking things like stakeholder engagement. We're talking about things like benefits management, we're looking at information management, we're looking at change control. So there's an awful lot of good structure in PMP. But what I find interesting, having taken both qualifications, is the skill side of it. There's the people skill side incorporated into the PMP training that very clearly isn't as part of Prince 2. Prince 2 is about structure, and I do find that PMP is about skills.
Why has Maven decided to launch this PMI qualification now when Prince 2 is so dominant?
I think it's simply to recognise the fact that there are so many people who've taken Prince 2. It's given them structural knowledge, but they still feel that there's something missing. And I think it's a recognition in the marketplace, certainly for training, that people value a qualification more than they necessarily value coming on a skills-based course. Particularly getting sign-off for your organisation to pay for you to go on a training event can sometimes be difficult when there's nothing at the end of the course that evidences that you've been on it, whereas with an exam-based qualification, that's still incredibly popular. So whilst there is a lot of skills-based training around project management, the PMP encapsulates that in a worldwide recognised qualification. So I think that's why there's so much popularity about it. Now, certainly, Prince 2 dominates the UK marketplace, and I would never negate that fact. I'm very well aware that when recruitment agents are hiring for project managers, Prince 2 is a key word that they search on. So I think that isn't going to change, that structural information. But when it comes to, I did my Prince 2 5 years ago, and I'm a project manager and I haven't done any other formal training in project management for 5 years, recruitment agents and interviewers are quite able to ask, well, you haven't really dedicated much to growing from that point, then have you? Yeah. So I think it's having that, what comes next, and something that's recognised and very, very well respected. PMI have been accredited ISO 9000. They are a quality examining body, and it's a very, very rigorous syllabus that they've put together that I believe, having been in project and programme management for 20 years, really does cover the skill set that people need. So I'm putting my name behind it because I really do think that this is something incredibly useful. I've had people take the Prince 2 alongside the PMP qualification, and they've come out and said, actually, the two work very well together. And they've come up with things that they really enjoyed from Prince 2 and things that they really enjoyed from PMP. For example, on Prince 2, I think people really do get a great deal of value from understanding this is a suggested step-by-step guide through the life of a project. You should do this, and then this, then this, then this. And it gives them that route map that they
Yes.
can understand for themselves, but also communicate to others. They can communicate it to the people who are paying for the project. They can communicate it to those they're going to involve in the project. And I think people get real sense of confidence boost from that. But once you've got that structure, it's understanding how to do the steps that have been set out for you. And I think PMP has a great deal to offer in this area, because I think there's some technical skills in there. Things like, particularly on the risk, using decision trees to identify how much risk and which solution would be best for us to minimise the risk. Some of those technical skills, very, very interesting.
Okay, so it's obvious that this would be suitable for those that want to show that they're still progressing as project managers. Who else would the qualification be suitable for, do you feel?
Well, having gone through it, I do feel that it's suitable for those who are coming into the world of project management, because it's giving them an understanding of what's involved very clearly. I have a personal preference, which is that I believe that Prince 2 gives a very, very good foundation. And my personal preference is, if somebody's coming into the world of project management, get the structure first. Because when I've compared and contrasted, this is a personal view, but I think that people, once they understand the structure of a project from start to finish, the things they should be doing, they can then understand where the skills that they're being taught from PMI fit into that. And I think that is a very sensible way of looking at it, so people get the most value from it.
So what are the benefits of the PMI qualification in a nutshell?
I think the PMI qualification, apart from being worldwide respected, is about evidencing that I've got skills in project management. I don't just know the basic structure. And I'm continually investing in myself. Prince 2, 4 or 5 years ago, was a differentiator. It made you special. It identified, you could have been managing projects for 10, 15 years, but by having the Prince 2 qualification, it elevated you to be able to apply for jobs where they were actually specifying for a project management qualification. Now, what's been interesting for me in running Maven training is that I see the trends by seeing everybody who comes into all of our classrooms. And what I'm seeing now is that Prince 2 has reached a tipping point. I think it reached a tipping point maybe 18 months, 2 years ago, where so many people had the qualification that it's no longer making you special. In fact, the conversation's changed. It's now, so why haven't you got it?
Yeah.
So before it was a differentiator, now it's you're behind the curve if you haven't got it. So that's another reason for me saying that I do think that people, if they're entering the world of qualifications to start with, should take Prince 2. But that brings on board the fact that the PMI's PMP qualification is, here in the UK, a differentiator. It does mark you out as somebody who understands project management and is committed to learning about project management. So it's an additional and very, very much a sort of contributor to saying, I'm embedded in this, I'm bought into this, and I'm qualified.